All right, here's a story that I came across, and I guess raping black men, the police raping of black men, isn't only limited to the United States. As you probably know, there have been several black men that the police have raped, either with their own genitalia or with plungers, nightsticks, etc. A couple of high-profile ones occurred in New York, a few in the Midwest, and some down here in Texas. People obviously, when word got out, got upset. But the same thing happened over in France. And it took a giant twist as far as the people being upset about the rape of a black man over there. Here's a story that I got off of mainstream media regarding the entire situation. And it may be a little difficult for me to keep up with the story as to what happened with the what happens with the police that violated this man, but we'll see what we can do. Here's the story.
Riots in the streets, clashes with police, vehicles engulfed in flames. Protests, both peaceful and violent, have rocked French cities and suburbs this month. They ignited over the French police's alleged beating and rape of a 22-year-old black man named Theo. The case, currently under investigation, garnered national attention and has increased racial tensions across the country as calls for justice were shouted in the streets. President Hollande put out a picture of himself visiting with Theo in the hospital, and candidates in the upcoming presidential election weighed in too. Most strikingly, the far-right Marine Le Pen called for a crackdown on rioters whom she referred to as scum. These protests could galvanize Le Pen's base if the violence escalates, while moderates will have to balance earning voters' trust with the risk of alienating law enforcement. But I think the violence tells us of a larger frustration in France today. The French sociologist Michel Viviorca points out that almost every established candidate has been knocked out of the election so far, from President Hollande to the leader of the Greens, to former President Sarkozy, to former Prime Minister Juppé. Like in so many places these days, France is a country where they just want to throw the bums out. The correct answer to the...
All right, so basically that lady that you saw, she is a far right winger, and you can basically say that she's Donald Trump in a dress and panties. Now, just so that you know, Russia is also interfering in their political process. And she basically parroted the same thing that Trump normally does. That forget about the outrage of the people. They're all a bunch of scum, and they need to be arrested and prosecuted. Not paying attention to the larger issue of police brutality and racism over there with their particular police force. Sound familiar? Ignoring the facts and pushing out a certain agenda with the help of foreign intervention worked for Trump, and now it looks like it may possibly be working for this lady, since all of the establishment basically have pretty much dropped out. So I'm just wondering who's going to be left standing to run against this lady, and are the French people going to exhibit the good judgment of keeping this lady out of office. But again, it's something about cops that love shoving stuff up black men's asses that seems like it's universal.